Well, thank you very much. You know, you could say the Bucks have come a long way from last season. Entering this afternoon's game at home against the Nets, they sit on top of the NBA standings with the best record in the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo looking to keep it that way early. The steal and then the nice move in the paint and the flush. The Nets, though, try to keep Giannis out of the paint, and when they do, he makes them pay with a three. The first half, though, is all Brook Lopez as he was dialed in from beyond the arc, knocking down three after three after three, 5 in all for 18 first-half points, and the Bucks hit 14 of them, leading by 19 at the break. In the third, it's a little more Lopez, knocking down 2 more threes as the Bucks were cruising. After the Nets make it a 9-point game, Giannis feels it's time to do his part and bury another three, and he does just that. Then he goes back to the inside, and what a move here. Check this out. The behind-the-back dribble and then the finger roll. He ends up with a triple-double, 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Bucks improved to 25-10 with a 129-115 win. They finished with 21 threes in the game. Here's Chris Middleton.
We're shooters, so shooters have to shoot. We have to let it fly. There's going to be some games where we miss and have games like this where we knock them down.
A downtown doubleheader with UWM hosting UW Green Bay up the road at Panther Arena. An exciting first half. Panthers jumping out to a 14-2 lead. DeAndre Abram hitting the three. But Sandy Cohen III closing out the first 20 minutes with a three of his own, and UWM's lead is down to 3 at the break. He goes for 28 tonight, by the way. The second half stays close. Abram slashing to the hoop and hammering one down. Then Darius Roy starting to get hot in the second half, scoring 8 straight points at one point, including this three, putting the Panthers up 65-62. After that, the Phoenix take off. Trevion Bell with the layup as their lead would grow to 10, and the Panthers can't catch up. They fall 92-82. The Badgers hit the road for a match with the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Brevin Pritzel hitting the early three as the Badgers go up by 4. Then Brad Davison also feeling his stroke today. He's good from 3, and the Badgers go up 16-11. But late in the half, the Badgers up by 1, and as Davison again, he's good from distance, sending Bucky into the break up by 4. Now the second half starts with Ethan Happ trying to establish himself inside, scoring 2 of his 20 points in the game. But after the Hilltoppers go up by 6, Davison helping bringing back the Badgers, tying the game at 52 with the layup inside. He finishes the game with 26, but Delano Banton answers with the 3, and the Hilltoppers, they don't look back, knocking off the Badgers 83-76. Tyler Harrow wanted to play big-time college basketball, so he goes to Kentucky and does just that against arch-rival Louisville today. The former Whitnall star leading the Wildcats with 22 points as they win 71-58. A former Wildcat star could be making his last appearance in Wisconsin as a Packer. Randall Cobb is among the players that might not be back next season, along with Clay Matthews. Both spoke of what they're focusing on tomorrow.
I'm practicing to play football, so obviously, it definitely is scary, but I do love what I do, and I'm going to play until I don't feel like I can play anymore.
It's the reality of the business. There's such a great turnover, even whether you have a season like we had where you don't make the playoffs or whether you win the Super Bowl. It's just the kind of how the league works. So yeah, you appreciate these last couple days, despite our record and where we're at, but you just try to appreciate it as much as you can.
And you can see the game against the Lions right here on Fox 6 at noon. The college football playoff kicking off with Notre Dame and Clemson in the Cotton Bowl, and this one's all Tigers. They blow it open in the third quarter. Travis Etienne busting 162 yards for the score. Clemson reaching the championship game with a 30-3 win. Big bowls also being played, including the Peach Bowl. Michigan and Florida, and Big Blue gets black and blue. The Gators hang a 41 spot on them, outscoring them 28-5 in the second half. Florida wins easily 41-15. That's your night in sports. Ben, back to you.
Oh, here it goes. Whoa. Take some breath.
How's that feel?
Feels.
You can't talk, though.
I know, it takes your breath away. Wow. So when you do this, what's better for you, the champagne or the beer?
That's a good question. I think all of it's pretty good. So it's just fun to celebrate again.
2 different approaches to pitching will be on full display starting Friday in the National League Championship Series. The Dodgers like their starters to go deep into the games. For the Brewers, it's just a matter of getting 27 outs. On the opening night of Fiserv Forum, the building was the star. On night 2, the stars were the stars, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton combining for 61 points. A dark and gloomy day to start at Lambeau Field, and it gets worse. Aaron Rodgers leaving with a concussion, and Joe Philbin's team putting up a 0 on the board as he looks to get the head coaching job.
That's Nathan, that's Philip, I'm Kyle.
The kids are in baseball, tennis, swimming, summer school. We have been very busy.
And on this day, 3 little boys, Kyle, Nathan, and Philip Gagnon, are happily playing at Regner Park in West Bend.
It's fun to watch them become little individuals and watch them grow.
Go! Trying to find the time for all of this is their mom, Amy, who relies on a couple of things to keep everything going smoothly.
Mocha, on my calendar. You gotta do it.
On the calendar for them, the Dirty Ninja race at Regner for a second straight summer.
They did it last year and they enjoyed it. They got filthy and we ended up throwing away their shoes. And then they get sprayed with fire truck hose at the end.
Her calendar was full last summer, but for a much different reason, all because of her youngest, 3-year-old Philip.
We noticed a little spot of blood in his urine. We took him in to get tested, and it showed that there was an indication of something wrong.
Another indication came that night when they found a blood clot in his diaper.
My husband took him to the children's emergency room and then discovered that there was a 12.5 centimeter tumor inside or around his kidney.
The diagnosis? Wilms tumor, a rare kidney cancer that mainly affects children ages 3 to 4.
Within a day and a half, he was in surgery, getting his kidney removed.
For 19 weeks, Philip underwent weekly chemotherapy treatments.
At the end of that, then he had a CT to make sure that it went away, that the chemo helped. Unfortunately, it didn't for Philip. There was a new spot inside his right lung, so he had to undergo another surgery last February to remove that nodule. And then the new treatment plan involved radiation and another 26 weeks of treatment.
Instead of 2 drugs, this time it was 5. And he went from 1 day of outpatient treatment to 5.
It became our new norm to have treatment, have a weakness where his immune system was really compromised.
During the treatment, Philip would turn 4.
We had just a big celebration of life in a way. Even though we didn't know how this was going to turn out, we had a big party.
Finally, on September 30th, 2017, Philip was discharged. But his journey is far from over.
We'll never be normal again. Because he had radiation to the lungs, we have to now do pulmonary lung testing throughout the next several years. We have to do echoes and EKGs to make sure his heart's still strong enough. He might be infertile. We'll test that later in life. He gets scanned every 3 months for the next couple of years to make sure that the cancer has not spread. Also, too, to watch out for a secondary cancer, and they're mostly concerned for leukemia.
With those concerns being monitored by his doctors, Philip is back to being a very active and happy little boy, adding to Amy's calendar by taking on the role of honorary survivor for the American Cancer Society's Relay for Life.
It means we get to celebrate and honor the people that have gone through those treatments and celebrate their life, that they're here with us.
Lori Bertrand, the executive director of the ACS of Wisconsin, sees the Relay for Life as an important tool for the Gagnons and others.
There is hope out there, and what's really incredible is that as we gain partners like Cole's Healthy Families that come out and make sure that families have the resources that they need, it's just incredibly inspiring.
Meanwhile, the Gagnons are still coping and hoping.
We will be able to breathe more easily in maybe 5 years, knowing for sure that he is in the clear. But as of right now, we just take it day by day. You know, he's good today, and that's all we can ask for.
The next task is a much simpler one. Enjoying the mud at the Dirty Ninja with his 2 brothers
3, 2, 1.
as an honorary starter.
Fun to just watch him be able to be a 5-year-old and get dirty.
And hopefully he'll continue to stay healthy. In West Bend, Brandon Cruz, Fox 6 Sports.
People love watching the game. You know, they love watching the people sweep. They love the yelling of it.
The action is fierce and loud at the Milwaukee Curling Club in Cedarburg. From the skips to the sweepers, they're making sure each thrown stone ends in the perfect spot. Sweep! Scott Kenya is the club president whose life changed when he slid into curling.
I mean, I didn't even know the sport existed until like 13 years ago. And then once you start to play the game, you love it. It's competitive, but there's also camaraderie and sportsmanship.
That connection is clear with his teammates, like John Konetzker.
He has a competitive spirit. When he misses a shot, he knows it immediately. And John does not like to miss a shot.
He doesn't seem to miss many. However, unlike most of the players, Konetzker doesn't need any verbal cues.
When you're playing in some tournaments and everybody's screaming, if you can't hear me, I do a good job of signaling what I want.
Even if Konetzker could hear Kenya, it wouldn't matter. He's deaf.
You know, you communicate based on time. You know, you can watch the stone go, and then you rely on the time. You watch the skip.
I can't yell sweep to him because he doesn't listen to me, so I'll be waving my hand. And we have a lot of symbols. Also, when I curl, I have to wear white gloves because he needs to be able to see a white glove on a black jacket.
After the stone is thrown, the silent signals continue.
So I do depend on the other two sweepers. I watch their broom. So when they begin, then I begin. When they stop, then I know to stop. 2, sometimes 3 nights a week, Konetzker is at the club competing in the 2-hour-long matches. Like the other players, there is something else drawing him in. After each game is finished, you know, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, we sit down with the other team right here at these tables that you see behind me. You know, we chat about curling, we can talk about work, I mean, anything before you go home.
Work for Konetzker is in an office underneath the famous clock tower at Milwaukee's Rockwell Automation, where he's worked as a software engineer for 23 years. There, he uses many of the same techniques as he does here to find success.
You know, we have a team of people developing the same program, let's say. You know, we have to understand each other's personalities, and it's the same concept with curling.
Before ever stepping into a curling rink, he was competing on a volleyball court.
I played in 3 Deaflympics. Won 2nd place, so silver in the first one. The second time we got 5th place, and then the third time we were in 5th as well, and at that time I decided to retire.
Far from retired as an athlete, he's hoping to return to the Deaflympics as a curler. Along the way, he wants to show other deaf people that curling is an opportunity for them.
I do hope that other deaf individuals do not feel afraid to join a league such as this with other hearing individuals. I think I'm a perfect example that this is a really great club.
Which seems to make perfect sense, as it's the people who keep him coming back week after week.
They have great members, and they're very understanding people.
In Cedarburg, Brandon Cruz, Fox 6 Sports.